Can Africa ever become a continent where nations collaborate to drive development, free from foreign influence? For centuries, Africa has been characterized as a continent dependent on external aid and imports, unable to stand independently. This narrative is finally breaking. In a groundbreaking partnership, Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traore and Ethiopian billionaire Narash Niker, CEO of BIEs, have announced plans to establish Africa's largest engine manufacturing plant, designed, built, and operated by Africans. But can this be done after years of Africans not working for themselves but serving others? Let's find out. This collaboration is about more than machinery. It's about reclaiming Africa's independence. The continent has been burdened with imported goods, overpriced and often unsuited for African needs for too long. Western countries have historically profited from Africa's economic dependency, crafting a narrative that Africa simply cannot manage on its own. This initiative challenges the status quo and shows the world that Africa is not only ready, but determined to lead its industrialization. Through this partnership, Traore and Niker are turning a new page for the continent, paving the way for a self-sustaining Africa. However, the real question is, why has Africa been denied this opportunity for so long? Africa's struggle to break free from industrial dependency is not simply a matter of internal shortcomings. It's the result of a well-orchestrated strategy designed to keep the continent under foreign influence. Historically, colonial powers structured African economies to extract raw materials at the lowest cost, while selling finished goods back to the continent at a premium. This economic design wasn't an accident. It was an intentional system to maintain control, ensuring that African nations remained subservient to external interests, both economically and politically. After the colonial era, things didn't change much. Post-independence, African leaders faced intense pressure from Western institutions like the IMF and the World Bank to accept trade agreements that, in reality, benefited foreign corporations. These so-called partnerships effectively turned African nations into perpetual consumers rather than producers. The result? Africa remained dependent on the global north for everything from cars to electronics, while exporting its precious raw materials at cut-rate prices. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite the wealth of natural resources and a young, vibrant labor force, Africa has consistently been denied the opportunity to develop its industrial base. Why? Because a self-sufficient Africa challenges the status quo. Western economies are heavily invested in keeping Africa as a supplier of raw materials and a consumer of foreign products. Allowing the continent to rise as an industrial power threatens existing global supply chains and profit margins. Yet, Burkina Faso's bold move to establish an engine manufacturing plant is a game changer. It's not just a factory, it's a statement. It signals that Africa is no longer content with merely supplying raw materials. It wants to create, innovate, and produce for itself. For the first time, African leaders like Traore and Niker are flipping the script. This project is about more than machines. It's about reclaiming control over Africa's economic future, inch by inch, engine by engine. Critics, especially those from the West, are quick to dismiss these initiatives. They argue that Africa lacks the infrastructure, the technology, or the expertise to sustain such projects. But let's dig deeper. Is this skepticism truly about Africa's capabilities? Or is it driven by a deeper fear of an Africa that can stand on its own 2 feet? An Africa that doesn't need Western handouts to survive? Why is it that European nations were able to industrialize with minimal outside interference, yet Africa is constantly told it needs foreign assistance? The narrative that Africa is not ready for industrialization is not only outdated, but also self-serving. The reality is that Africa's potential has always been there, lying dormant under layers of external control and exploitation. The real issue isn't Africa's readiness, it's the fear that Africa's rise will disrupt a global system that thrives on its dependence. The vision Traore and Niker are championing is one where Africa stops asking for permission and starts taking its destiny into its own hands. Imagine an Africa where manufacturing plants are as common as its abundant fields, where machinery, technology, and innovation flow out of the continent instead of in. This isn't just about economic development. It's about rewriting the rules of global trade. It's about shifting from being consumers to producers, from being exploited to becoming the architects of their prosperity. This isn't just a step forward for Burkina Faso, it's a rallying cry for the entire continent. The engine plant represents more than industrial output. It symbolizes the breaking of chains that have kept Africa tethered to a system designed to keep it from rising. In this new era, Africa is not just looking to participate in the global market, it's positioning itself to lead it. But will a single production plant solve everything? Let's be honest. Building one production plant, no matter how innovative, won't magically resolve all of Africa's challenges overnight. However, it's a powerful beginning. At the core of Africa's future lies its youth, a generation not just filled with dreams but bursting with potential, creativity, and sheer willpower. Traore and Niker understand that true independence is not merely about machinery. It's about people. It's about empowering Africa's youth to lead the charge in its industrial transformation, giving them the skills to take control of their economic destiny. This partnership goes beyond just setting up a factory. It's about establishing a foundation for sustainable growth. Through comprehensive technical training programs, young Africans will gain hands-on experience in engineering, manufacturing, and industrial design. But let's be clear, this is not just about training workers. It's about creating a new generation of leaders who can build, innovate, and expand Africa's industries from the ground up. This is about turning Africa's youth bulge into a skills bulge that can drive economic growth for decades to come. Western skeptics are quick to dismiss these efforts, arguing that Africa's educational systems and workforce cannot sustain industrial projects. But let's break this down. Is this skepticism rooted in facts, or is it simply another example of the paternalistic mindset that has always doubted Africa's capabilities? Why is it that when European or Asian nations embarked on their industrial revolutions, no one questioned whether their youth could handle the technical complexities? The truth is, those arguments are not about capability. They're about control. Keeping Africa dependent on foreign expertise ensures that the continent remains a captive market. The initiative by Traore and Niker flips this narrative on its head. By investing in Africa's youth, they are doing more than just providing jobs. They are planting the seeds of self-reliance and innovation. The power to operate, design, and maintain advanced machinery is not just a technical skill, it's a form of economic liberation. It means that the next time something breaks, Africa doesn't need to call in a specialist from abroad. They can fix it themselves on their terms. It's a small but significant step toward breaking the cycle of dependency that has held the continent back for far too long. But let's not stop there. This is not merely about learning how to turn wrenches and assemble parts. It's about reclaiming a sense of agency that has long been denied. It's about young Africans stepping up to lead their industries, design their solutions, and craft their future. Imagine an Africa where the brightest minds no longer have to leave their homeland for opportunities abroad, but can build, innovate, and excel right where they are. That's the vision Traore and Niker are setting into motion. The old narrative that Africa isn't ready for technical skill building is more than outdated. It's insulting. Africa's youth have shown time and again that they're not just ready, but eager to embrace new challenges. This project is living proof that with the right investments, African talent can surpass expectations. The only ones who doubt this are those who benefit from maintaining the status quo. In essence, Traore and Niker's vision is about more than just engines and factories. It's about sparking a continent-wide movement. It's about showing the world that Africa's youth are not just the future, they are the present, ready to take the reins and drive their nations forward. This isn't just about producing machines. It's about producing leaders, innovators, and change-makers who will redefine what it means to be African in the 21st century. And what does the road from dependency to self-sufficiency look like? One of the most exciting aspects of this partnership is its potential to move Africa away from import dependency. Currently, African nations are forced to spend billions on imported machinery, a reality that not only drains wealth, but keeps Africa beholden to foreign manufacturers. By establishing local production, this initiative challenges a system designed to benefit external economies at Africa's expense. Opponents may claim that manufacturing within Africa is costly or unsustainable. Why then do wealthy nations push Africa toward imports instead of helping it build self-reliant systems? The answer is clear. It's profitable to keep Africa as a customer. Import dependence ensures that wealth generated in Africa leaves Africa. The Burkina Faso-Ethiopia partnership offers an alternative. By producing machinery domestically, Africa can retain wealth within its borders, reduce costs for its industries, and create thousands of jobs. Local manufacturing strengthens the economy by circulating money internally, fostering a multiplier effect. Every engine built in Burkina Faso is more than just machinery. It's a statement of economic independence. This shift will transform not only Burkina Faso but the entire continent, as African nations witness the benefits of keeping wealth within Africa. This approach doesn't just counter dependency, it turns it on its head. Imagine an Africa where products once imported from across the seas are made right here, driving local growth and development. The argument against this vision is not that it's unfeasible, but that it disrupts the status quo. Will locally made machinery be good enough? This is a crucial question, but to truly appreciate the answer, we need to consider a major flaw in the imported machinery model. Western-designed equipment is often a poor fit for Africa's agricultural and industrial needs. Machines built for temperate climates with predictable weather patterns and consistent terrain frequently falter under Africa's intense climate, rugged landscapes, and diverse soils. Traore and Niker's vision is not just about producing machines within Africa's borders. It's about engineering them for Africa, crafting equipment that thrives in its unique environments and meets its specific demands. Critics may argue, why reinvent the wheel? Why not just import technology from more advanced nations? Imported machines are often exorbitantly priced, complicated to maintain, and need specialized parts that aren't available locally. Worse, they're prone to constant breakdowns because they weren't built to withstand Africa's dust, heat, and heavy use. As a result, African farmers and industries end up pouring money into equipment that's not just unsuitable, but also keeps them dependent on foreign maintenance and parts. Now, think about what it means to design machinery that's tailor-made for African conditions. Local production allows African engineers to customize machinery, ensuring it's robust enough to handle the continent's rugged conditions. Instead of struggling with tools that weren't built with them in mind, African farmers and industries will finally have access to equipment that serves them reliably, day in and day out. Imagine African farmers working with tractors that don't break down because of dust or temperature, machines they can repair locally without waiting weeks for costly foreign parts or specialized technicians. This isn't just about producing equipment. It's about giving Africans the tools they need to work efficiently and sustainably. The importance of local production goes beyond practical benefits. It's a testament to African resilience and ingenuity. The real question isn't why produce locally, but rather, why should Africa continue to rely on tools that weren't made for its environment when it has the talent, knowledge, and resources to create its own? By manufacturing its machinery, Africa is stepping into a new era of self-reliance and innovation. This shift not only strengthens Africa's economy, but empowers its people to take charge of their development. Moreover, the symbolic significance of this shift cannot be overstated. Africa producing machinery that meets its own needs sends a bold message to the world that Africa is not waiting for solutions, but creating them. This initiative by Traore and Niker isn't just about practical technology. It's a statement of African empowerment, showing that the continent can solve its challenges from within. This isn't simply about making machines. It's about positioning Africa as a leader in innovation, able to export its advancements to neighboring countries. With every piece of machinery crafted locally, Africa sheds the outdated dependency on foreign, ill-suited tools and enters a new chapter of autonomy. This partnership signals the start of an era where African needs are met by African solutions, paving the way for a brighter, self-sufficient future. While the short-term benefits of collaboration between Burkina Faso and Ethiopia look good, what does it mean in the long term? This collaboration between Burkina Faso and Ethiopia might seem like just another economic partnership at first glance, but in reality, it holds a much deeper significance. It symbolizes a shift towards a more united, self-sufficient Africa. What's truly inspiring here is the unity that this partnership represents. A vision of African nations coming together not out of necessity, but out of a shared commitment to uplift each other. This is not simply a business deal. It's a powerful statement of South-South cooperation, where mutual respect and shared values replace the traditional, exploitative frameworks that have defined Africa's economic relationships for far too long. Critics may ask, why not just stick to foreign aid? Western aid, while often presented as generous, frequently comes with hidden costs. It's rarely a gift. It's a contract with fine print that demands political and economic concessions in return. These so-called assistance packages can compromise Africa's autonomy, binding it to policies that prioritize foreign interests over local needs. In stark contrast, this collaboration between Burkina Faso and Ethiopia is based on equality. It's about African nations working together without bending to the demands of external powers, proving that development can happen without sacrificing sovereignty. Now, let's take a step back and imagine the broader implications of this partnership. Picture a future where African countries regularly collaborate to address their most pressing challenges. Instead of looking to the West or the East for guidance, they turn to each other, exchanging knowledge, technology, and resources. This partnership isn't just about Burkina Faso and Ethiopia. It's about setting a precedent for how African nations can work together as equals. Imagine a continent where borders become bridges, not barriers, where alliances are forged based on shared visions of progress, not imposed conditions. In the long run, partnerships like this one could change the entire narrative of African development. For decades, the continent has been pressured to integrate into a global economy that often disregards its unique strengths and needs. This partnership challenges that outdated model by showing that Africa doesn't need to beg for a seat at the table. It can build its own. By prioritizing African-led solutions and cross-border collaboration, Burkina Faso and Ethiopia are setting the stage for a new kind of economic resilience, one that is rooted in African values and driven by African leadership. Think about the ripple effects this could have. Traore and Niker's vision is not just about immediate economic gains. It's about inspiring other African leaders to rethink their approach to development. It's about demonstrating that African unity isn't just a lofty ideal. It's a practical strategy for self-sufficiency and long-term growth. The solidarity shown in this partnership sends a powerful message. Africa doesn't need to look outside its borders to find partners for progress. It can, and should, look within. In the grander scheme, this collaboration is more than just an economic strategy. It's a blueprint for political independence. For far too long, Africa has been expected to follow the rules set by others, to integrate into systems that don't serve its interests. But this partnership signals a refusal to compromise on sovereignty. It's about building an African economic network that is not beholden to foreign powers, one that uplifts African people on their terms. This is not merely a step forward. It's a leap toward a future where African nations are the architects of their destiny. The partnership between Burkina Faso and Ethiopia is proving that Africa doesn't have to fit into a mold created by the West. Instead, it can create its path, driven by the needs, aspirations, and strengths of its people. This is the kind of collaboration that can inspire a continent-wide movement. A new era of African unity, innovation, and prosperity, where African nations are not just surviving but thriving on their terms. The real question isn't whether Africa can industrialize and succeed independently. The question is whether the world is ready to accept an Africa that doesn't need saving. Traore and Niker's collaboration answers that question with a resounding yes. Their vision is one of a continent unshackling itself from the chains of foreign dependency and taking its rightful place on the world stage. Not as a follower, but as a leader. As African nations witness the success of this collaboration, they will no longer be seen as dependent on the goodwill of others. Instead, they will stand as beacons of resilience and ingenuity, inspiring each other to build a brighter future. Traore and Niker's vision shows that when Africa works together, the result isn't just industrial progress. It's a self-sustaining continent, united, proud, and ready to define its destiny. This partnership between Burkina Faso and Ethiopia is not merely a business agreement, it is a model for what an empowered Africa can accomplish. It challenges outdated narratives and sets a new standard for what African nations can achieve when they embrace their capabilities. This is the dawn of a new era, one where Africa leads, innovates, and rises on its terms. Do you think Africa is changing because of its new leaders? What to expect from the news? Let us know in the comment section. Can the West maintain dominance? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.